What's up, guys? It's Quicksilver here, and let's see, just been kind of doing some, I guess housekeeping stuff is maybe the best way to describe it. So I guess I'll just give you a little quick overview here before we get into the actual video for the day. I guess first of all, I got tired of looking at this chest and it being an absolute and utter wreck. And actually, hang on 1 second. I think my kid's been playing. Yeah, my sound's way high here. Let's make sure you can hear me. Yeah, back to game. So anyway, so got tired of this being a total and utter wreck, so I've tried to do a little more organization stuff here. So I started a separate box here for farming because this box was also a total wreck, so now this is just edible items, which, yeah, I still have some zombie meat in there. I have a hard time just pitching those things, but probably will pretty soon. And then anything that I can stick in the ground I've kind of stuck over here, or that has another use that's not something you just readily eat. So I've done that. Couple little things. I have a ton of cows. I've been cooking a bunch of steaks up, so that means I've been breeding a bunch of cows as well. I also made a bunch of bread, I guess is what I'm trying to find here. Then additionally, down here I've started doing some prep. I think I mentioned at the end of the Ender Dragon video, which, man, that was a good fight. The end of that one, I mentioned that I think I'm going to make a giant chicken, and I'm going to turn it into a chicken breeder, an auto chicken farm. I don't think we're going to get started on that today. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet. I have a couple ideas for the video, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I have got at least the sheep sheared, and I've moved all my wool down to that little chest down there, as well as the shears that I had that helped me empty out that miscellaneous box. It just made more sense rather than running all the way down here to shear sheep and then having to run all the way back up to here just to bring them back. So I've done that. Yeah, you can see I've cooked cows twice today, and I still have them glitching through the walls there. So yeah, there's a ton of that stuff going on. One other thing you might have noticed when I looked this way, right about here is where I used to have my Silk Touch guy. I was actually having some trouble with him. I don't know if you've followed the series and you've religiously watched, you might remember that when I was building my Iron Golem farm, I was trying to store my villagers right here, and I had them completely fenced in, and for some reason they were glitching out. It was almost like they were teleporting, and they'd show up like right around here, and they just kind of wanted to congregate right underneath this thing. And he happened to be one of the villagers, so I actually built a little platform out here, and I just fenced him in because I wanted to keep him and run all the rest of them up here. Well, it seemed like any time I would come over this way and I spent any amount of time doing anything really, this guy, for some reason, he was glitching out of the little fenced-in area that I had and kind of congregating right around here. So I'm not really sure what was magic about this spot to him, but he seemed to like it a lot. The only thing I can guess is that he was viewing the village up there, and for whatever reason, maybe because I had him down here, the center of the village was being tracked right here. So anyway, I didn't like that, so what I did was I threw down a bunch of tracks here, and he went along this way. I did all this off camera, obviously, so you guys wouldn't have to watch it. And you might already see there's a little house that I've got built over here. So basically, I just moved him 100 blocks away, or minimum 100 blocks away from the from where I had him. Gave him a proper little house that he can hide in at night, and a little fenced-in area. I did not put a gate here because I don't want him to be able to get out and run around or do anything like that. So he is trapped here for our own private use. I've already seen a couple zombies kind of run over here and decide that they wanted to try and eat him, so he's probably had a nice good scare, and I don't think he's going to want to leave that house and try and port over there. So far so good, because I've spent a lot of time running around down here. Hello there, buddy. Yep, still selling Silk Touch, gotta like that. I've been doing a lot of running around down here and some mining underground and stuff like that, just trying to get some resources back up. Checking out the witch farm as well. And he's not come out of there yet, so I'm pretty pleased. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. The witch farm over here, man, I'll tell you what, I actually had a jam of witches. I've never seen it before. I think I counted like 12 witches or something that were all clogging up my waterway at one point in time over here. So I don't know what the deal is with them, but yeah, you can actually see some coming down right now. So yeah, this thing is working really well still, so I'm pleased with that. I'm going to let them fall to their doom. I think they'll have more than enough time before the junk unloads. And then I will take you over to what is potentially our project for the day. Like I said, it's either going to be starting on the chicken farm, which I'm kind of excited about, so I might do that even though I don't have any chickens over here yet. If I don't do that, however, The other thing that's been kind of bugging me in my world is the mob spawner over here. Not the actual spawner itself. I'm really pleased with how it's been working. It's been producing a ton of stuff for us. The fact that I had the infinity bow for the Ender Dragon fight meant that I didn't really have to worry too much about having arrows or anything like that, but I certainly had plenty, more than enough to take him out. But as you can see here, if you follow my stuff, I've got a lot more chests that I've thrown in here. So right now this bottom one that I'm calling Dog Chow is the one where all the drops that go to from the mobs that I kill from the mob farm. The bottom one over here that's marked arrows is where all the drops go that are from mobs that die down low. It sounds like we got some. Oh, yep, we got some more stuff coming up. So yeah, there's actually a decent amount of them. Actually, it's not marked arrows; it's marked armors. There's a decent enough amount of those guys that I've got a lot of extra crap that falls into this place, and then obviously when I'm killing these dingbats, I get a lot of stuff that doesn't belong in the Dog Chow box. Dog Chow being, of course, just the zombie flesh. So, and I'm tired of having to pull it out of here and sort it. Actually, you know what? Let me turn this down some more because it's really, really, really obnoxious, especially in this room. I think what I want to do, I've got Dog Chow, arrows, bones, I've got spider stuff, which realistically is just spider string, gunpowder from the creepers, and then any armor drops are here. So what I'm thinking I want to do, and again, I'm not sure if we'll do it in this video or if I'll do it in a later one, but I want to build another sorting system, kind of like what we did over in the, I guess in our sorting area over here for the Iron Golem farm. I want to build one here, and then I want to connect the output from where we kill those guys. So instead of routing it straight over to this chest, I would route it behind where we're killing mobs right now. And it's going to be a really obnoxious project, noisy with all these guys too. Come on, dude, die. Oh, there we go. It's going to be a really obnoxious project, so I'm not looking forward to it. But basically, I want to route all the drops that are in here over to, well, here, I'll just look back here. I actually got a pretty decent enchanted shovel off of zombie, believe it or not. This thing is Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 3, so I was like, oh, I gotta have that thing. Anyway, what I would probably do is go behind this wall and dig an access to these droppers, or actually maybe even dig it back here a little further into the hopper chain that we've got here. And I guess at that point, work all the drops into one common area, run them up above here, and then sort them out no different than we've done elsewhere, so that we can have, you know, anything. If the spider web thing will go into here, gunpowder into here, we would send bones in here, arrows in here, zombie meat into here. Don't glitch out of there, that creeps me out. I hate when they do that. Basically just sort everything out so that all our drops would go in there, and then anything left over would fall into the armors box, which in all reality should just be swords, bows, and all that good stuff. Oh, that's right, I made a separate chest over here for my bows. But that would probably give us a pretty decent method, I think, to sort everything. But it's going to take a little thought, which is why I'm not sure I'm going to do it today, because I'm feeling a little thoughtless. But I'll probably do this video over the course of a couple of days, so if that's the case, maybe I'll feel a little more thoughtful tomorrow or something. But yeah, see, look at all the junk I collect in these things, and it's annoying to come in here and have to do this every single time. So, like I said, I got to think on it a little bit, but yeah, it's going to either be that or it's going to be a start on the chicken farm, which means I'll have to go run around and grab some eggs and all that good stuff, and actually get started on the timing system and sorting system and all that good stuff. I guess not sorting system, the timing system. And, oh god, mob lag in the water, I hate that. Anyway, it'll be pretty cool. The idea that I've got, I'm going to use dispensers to create the chickens, which is nothing new, but I will actually do it all without water. I've built chicken farms in the past, never completely automated, but with droppers and hoppers and all that good stuff, it's certainly doable now. but I'm going to do it without using water. So unlike like when we're trying to leave the mob area, and you always hear me complain about the lag, and the reason I experience lag over there is because there's some sort of a glitch still in Minecraft. I wish they would fix it. That when you have entities that are in water and they're splashing around, it causes all kinds of lag as the chunk loads and unloads. So I'd really, really love for that to be fixed, but since it's not, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and build the chicken farm without using water. So we're not going to use water to push chickens around or anything like that. So that's my goal for the chicken farm, but it's going to, in order for it to work, I'm going to have to figure out a couple different timing systems. One that's going to time when eggs get dispensed so that we have a constant supply of those, and then one that's going to decide when the chickens actually get cooked, so that we can make sure that we don't cook any baby chickens. And I'm going to have, I think, two separate, well, maybe not two separate timers, but one timer that's going to time when we create new chickens, and one that's going to, and then very shortly after that, only for a very short period of time, we'll dispense the eggs for them, and then it'll turn itself off and it won't work again for 20 minutes or something like that, because that's about how long it takes for the chickens to grow. But then we'll also have to have a timer so that we're only cooking the chickens at the right time. So I don't know that I can time them together, because if I automatically dispense chickens, then I'll have babies in there when I go to cook them and all that good stuff. So anyway, I don't know. It's going to require a little bit of thought, but I think I'm up for the task, and we'll see. So I'm actually going to go AFK for a little bit now and think about it and try and figure out what I want to do, and I will see you guys in a couple of seconds. Okay guys, so here I am in my test world, where I like to build stuff, and I think before I unveil what we're going to do today, the anticipation's killing you, isn't it? A couple of things. Number one, this video was probably going to be a little short or a little late, I'm not sure which, or it could end up being long. You know me and my long-windedness. 1.6 came out yesterday, and I've been, or a couple days ago actually, and I've been goofing around with my texture pack and trying to get everything working. So I do want to make that available for you guys. I'll have a link down below for it. I had to do a little dinking around with MC Patcher. I'm not sure if this will work better since it's a resource pack now with Optifine or not. If you have Optifine and you want to use this, please let me know. Give me some feedback. Let me know if it works for you. Very few of the blocks I think in here, well, not very few, but there aren't nearly as many blocks in here that are mine as there used to be. So at this point I would probably, I got to give a lot of props to the Misa texture pack. I did use a bunch of their mobs, which I'll show you. I used the squid. I've updated, I think, like the wolf texture, stuff like that. The horses, I think the Misa horses are just awesome. I wish I loved more of their texture pack. I would probably just use it instead, but their mobs are fantastic. So check it out if you don't already have it. I'll try and provide a link to that as well. But yeah, so anyway, as far as the project that I think we're going to work on, what I've decided is I'm going to go with the chicken farm. A couple of reasons. Number one, I kind of dinked around for a little bit. I don't know if I can show you without, kind of dinked around a little bit with the mob sorting area, and I think I'm gonna have a spacing issue is the problem that I'm looking at. Basically what you've got here, the red is stuff I cannot touch because that's gonna be my water column, or is in representative of my water column coming up. The way that it works, if you've not seen my my section on this, the one that I did, is when you get to this dropper right here, it feeds it right into this chest, and that's how I get the drops from way down below. And then the drops that are in here just feed right over into this bottom chest. So in order to have them all into one and be able to sort them, the first thing I had to do, which was no big deal, was just reroute the drops from in there to go into my bottom dropper here, and then create a little item chain or dropper chain to go up, just kind of continue that from what's happening down below. Actually, I put a separate timer on it so that it wouldn't matter if the items were coming from below or if they were coming from in here. So that's what this is. The items would come up here and then come around, and then I used the same item sorter that I've got a tutorial on and that I've shown you guys in the past. I only needed to sort 6 items, so I have 5 things here, and then anything else would dump down in here, and that would be stuff like bows and armor and all that good stuff. The problem that I have is then I need to send out via hopper chains and droppers and stuff like that all the drops that are now sorted nice and neat into these chests. And the problem is, as you can see, I can't bash through here, or else I run the risk of destroying the water column that's bringing the mobs up here. So I'm not sure. I may have to think about this. Maybe I can turn it around backwards and send it all around back here and then make some convoluted chaining that doesn't destroy any of this to bring them back around to these 6 chests over here. So anyways, you can see that's going to be one crazy mess. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. But what I am going to do, like I said, and I will unveil it now, is the chicken farm. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, guys. I went ahead and I dinked around for a little while and built, I think, a pretty decent replica of the Minecraft chicken. His eyes might be a little wider than the actual Minecraft chicken, but we'll just say he's too cool, he's wearing shades, whatever. I did close up this side of him, just so you guys could see what it'll look like when I'm finally done. And then this side I have left open a little bit, and then the same with the top and the back of this thing, just so I can get in and out of here for easy reference. So let me show you, I guess, the nuts and bolts of how this thing's going to work, and then depending on time and all that good stuff, after I've shown you the texture pack, we'll get to work building it in my single player world. First thing to note, obviously, I'm going to need a butt ton of white wool, a little bit of black, a tiny bit of red. I already have the red, really, and a decent amount of yellow wool. I think I'm going to expand the amount of sheep that I've got so that I can increase that production and be able to do that. But alright, enough of that. My biggest challenge is I'm trying to fit all of this stuff inside the chicken, and I think I found a good way to do it. Just kind of been playing around with this. I've been inspired by Monkeyfarm's design for his automatic chicken farm. He has not finished his tutorial yet, so I don't know how much of this will be like what he does and how much of it won't. He has a really cool extended timer that he uses to get a 20-minute timer that I'm going to go ahead and use down in here. But let me show you what I'm thinking here. So the way this sucker's going to work is I'm going to make what I'm going to affectionately call the chicken receptacle, and it is as horrible as it sounds. Basically, when I finish this thing off, I will close up the top of this with white wool except for this one last block, and then I will get a ton of eggs and I'll just chuck them right down in here and make as many chickens as I can. I'll probably cover up that hopper with a half slab or something so the items can still fall through it, but my goal there will be just to cram as many chickens in here as I can. Because it's going to be waterless, I'm not too concerned with lag. I don't think chickens cause lag in and of themselves. It's just when they're floating in water that they cause that issue. So what happens then is if I've got, say, 30 chickens crammed in there, they'll poop out their eggs into this hopper, and then I've got a little mini hopper chain here that's going to feed them down here and into this dispenser. So I'm just using one dispenser for this. So my goal is just poop them all out and dump them into this dispenser. So this dispenser is just going to collect eggs and not do a damn thing. Then ultimately I will have it set up to fire out the chickens, and we'll empty out the dispenser, and the chickens, the baby chickens will, whatever baby chickens we're able to make, will land in here, and I've actually got a half slab in here, and they'll just kind of hang out. The bottom half, and it's high enough, it's 2 blocks high, so they can't jump out, fly out, whatever chickens do to get out of things like that. This is a dispenser that has lava in it, so what we'll do is similar to the cow cooker. We will set this thing up, and I'm actually going to use, I think, just a hopper timer on it, because I can turn that on and off via a torch very easily. And I just have one item in there, so it will go flick, flick, back and forth, and if I do it twice, flick, 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 then what will happen is we will have the lava go boom, boom, and set the chickens on fire, but it does it quick enough on tests that it doesn't actually kill them. So at that point it cooks the chickens, and their drops will go down into this hopper, and then what I'll do is probably just create a little hopper chain down here, and I'll throw a chest down right here, a double chest of course, and just connect it to that hopper. So unlike the actual Minecraft chickens, our chicken will have, I guess it'll have a dick, I don't know, have a little weird extension down here, but that's okay, because then whenever we want yummy chicken, all we have to do is run over here and open up the chest, and we'll have tasty chicken. Other option is, I guess I could stick the chest up here, although then I won't be able to open it, so I'm probably not going to do that. But yeah, we'll just drop it down below his feet, and we will go ahead and we'll pick up the cooked chicken down there. So that's the basic theory. Now in order to make all this magic work, we've got to have a series O timers. And I think what I'm going to do, I dinked around with, hang on, let me get this black widow out of here. Bye-bye. There we go. I dinked around a little bit. Etho's got a pretty cool little timer system, and I like this, and I can modify this so that I get my output signal right here. But the problem is, even if I load this thing up completely with items, I only get about a 3-minute timer. And I thought about trying to use this torch as a mechanism, as a locking mechanism for another series setup similar to this, where this timer would just flicker off and on and off via a monostable circuit or something, and it would allow this hopper timer to just pass one item into the next chain, so it would be really slow. So I could really, if I put, I think it's about 2 seconds to pass each item, or maybe it's 1 every 2 seconds, I forget. But basically I could control how often an item got passed, so how often our monostable circuit would fire off, and allow the passing of items in here. The more I dinked around with that, the more complex it got, and like I said, Monkeyfarm's got a really, I think, a pretty elegant solution to it. It requires a little bit of space, but if I build it underneath our chicken, it's not really going to matter. I guess I should get rid of this. This was a drop timer check that I was doing a while ago that I'm not really using anymore. So, or drop distance checker, I should say. But yeah, so I wasn't really pleased with how this worked. My goal with this was I wanted something kind of compact that I could try and place on the floor of the chicken, but as I dinked around with it and started monkeying, it was too big anyway, and I was punching out blocks in the bottom of the chicken, and it wasn't looking as good. So my goal now is, in addition to our chicken penis, or whatever you want to call it, I'm also going to do a little vertical wiring up the back of the chicken's leg that's going to go in, so we won't really see it from, at least not from the front. That'll go in here. That will give us our timer. So every 20 minutes, actually let me show you the timer and explain how it works. If you want to really get a good idea of this, I'll try and put a link to Monkeyfarm's video on this thing for what he's doing with his chicken farm. Check it out, it's pretty cool. He's got a little double dispenser system he's trying to figure out and monkey with, no pun intended, or was it? But it's a similar system. I've only got a couple of sticks in here right now, so I'm not really trying to do the full 20-minute timer, and I think I probably need to add about 2 more of these things to it. I haven't really checked the time on it, so that I can get a full 20 minutes. The reason 20 minutes is my magic number is because that's about how long it takes a baby chicken to grow up into an adult chicken. So my thought is I'll pass the sticks around, and by the time they make it all the way back around over to here, 20 minutes will have gone by. Well, what happens when they get here is we send our, again, well, I guess let's get through it first. If I throw items in here, they send out a signal to here, which passes all around to here, and then locks this hopper so that nothing can pass on to the next one. You can see these are all a long chain. Up here it turns around and then comes back down here, and then this one turns into here. So when there's items in here, this hopper is locked because of this little doohickey here. Once that empties out and all our items are in here, this is no longer giving a signal, so this turns off, and then this hopper is now free to pass them to the next one. The reason these aren't all butted up to one another, as Monkeyfarm points out, is because you end up with some weird lockings going on with this line kind of interfering with this block, and you get all sorts of weird stuff, and suddenly your sticks are all just pulsing through here rapidly. So anyway, once the sticks have all passed through here, they move on to here, and it repeats the cycle on this side. So basically, if my math is right, or at least my YouTube research is right, it takes about 3 minutes for the sticks to move all the way through here, if you have a full complement of them anyway, and then move on to the next one. So we go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 minutes is about where we are right now. So really, if I add 1 or 2 more of these things, and 2 more wouldn't be a bad thing, just because it would, we need at least 20 minutes for our chickens to grow up. If we have a little more, hey great, we're going to make sure we're not butchering babies up there. So anyway, so that's the basic timer system that we have here. But the other thing that I've done is I've also added a, I can't think right now, I've added a repeater coming off of this last block here, which is where our chain ends, that goes into this block, and then we create a little monostable circuit. And what that's going to do is, it's basically, when this one goes on, you can see that's like a lever being turned on until this stuff empties out. What a monostable circuit does is it passes current through here and into this block that has a torch on here that's powered currently because everything's turned off, and then a repeater that's set to 4 ticks here. And what happens is, as soon as this thing gets power, it sends power, it turns off this torch, which turns this one on, and then 4 ticks later this thing sends power into this block, turning that torch back off. So in essence, we're turning a a lever pull, for lack of a better term, into a button push. If you watch this guy right here, when this passes through, boom, see how that works? And then what that does is it's going to power a redstone here and here, which sends power into this white block, and that's where the magic starts to happen for our chicken anyway, because we're taking our power now out of down here and we're putting it in here. So what happens is we're sending power into that block, and that turns this torch off, which I can prove to you in maybe another 10 or 15 seconds, however long it takes the power to travel down there. But then what I'll do is I'll just use vertical wiring to send that signal up. And I realize this is all complex and redstone-y crapola, but you know, it's important, I think, to know, because it's going to get a little confusing in my world. So you see, just like the torch did down there, we get the same thing here. So my theory here now is I'm just going to go ahead and I'll do this number, a little simple vertical wiring, and we'll run our power up here. I'm going to leave this actually undone because this will be my little cheat sheet when I'm trying to build this in my world. So we're going to go ahead and we'll run our power up here and through this hole, and then I'll bring it on up. And at that point, the way that I have the timer set up on the dispenser of lava is if I can get a double pulse into this thing, which shouldn't be too tough to do, then we can have this torch go off, power this thing, and that will spit out lava. Then if the double pulse comes in, this fires off one more time, it sucks the lava back up. So what I'll do is when I bring my power up here, I will send it no different than I do with the cow farm. I'll send it directly into this block so that we can get our power to turn that on and off for our first pulse. But then I'll also use it, I'll do this up in the air, probably, you know, up here-ish kind of a deal. Yeah, I think is my theory anyway. I'll send it, yeah, if this comes up here, and let's say we happen to have a torch. I don't want to have a torch on there probably, but well, if I do, that'll work just as well. No, we don't want to do that. I'll figure that out. Hopefully my torch, I haven't actually done the math for it. Yeah, I may have to actually move this up a little bit. But hopefully my torch will be here. I can't get up there. In which case what I will do is run... oh, crap. Actually, I do need that lower anyway. See, this is why I try and do this stuff in advance, so you guys don't have to listen to me try and figure this out on cam. We'll do that, which will, as you can hear, there's a... it just fires it on and off non-stop. But when we get that little tick-tick, and this will have to be in an off state. If it's not, I'll do some convoluted stuff here to make it an off state. Then we can fire out our lava. And then what I will do is, in addition to this, I'll have the same thing send power to a repeater, or a series of repeaters that will run power back around and then into this block again. Might have to come around all the way to this side before we do it. So we can control the lava. We'll go tick-tick right away when we do that. And then... yeah, wait a minute. Actually, you know what? We might not even have to do that. We may be able to just do tick-tick, just like that. So anyway, I'll play around with that a little bit. Oh, that was bad. That is one way to stop the timer. But yeah, we can fix that, right? Hopefully my stuff is in there. No, of course not. Okay. So yeah, alright, well, I think it'll probably be pretty easy to, maybe a little easier to do that than I thought it was. So that'll give us our tick-tick, and I can just make that in whatever state I need it to be in to make that work. But yeah, so that'll cook our chickens, because the bottom line is that tick-tick, that right there, is fast enough that it will not actually kill the chickens. So that's how we're going to cook our chickens and automatically collect the meat. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to, once I've done that, I'm also going to run power off of probably the same torch. I'll run a delay over here to send power around over to this guy. Doesn't have to be a very long delay, because as you can tell, if the chickens are on fire and they're dying, it doesn't matter. That's how long our delay needs to be, just tick tick, and then we're good to go. At least I got 3 off of that one, but there we go. Through just a single, 2-tick delay kind of a deal, so that we can cook the chickens. And then what we'll do at that point is I want to have another timer, and this one I'm not sure where the hell I'm going to build it, but I want to have maybe just a timer similar to this guy, only a little more compact. I got to do some fishing around online and find a better timer system than this that'll be a little smaller and more compact. But I want to have it, I just probably need one of these to have it go for 3 minutes. I think 3 minutes will be ample time to spit out all of our chickens, even if this thing is full. I doubt it'll ever really fill up in 20 minutes time for the chickens that I've got in here dropping eggs. I think we'll probably only get about half full, but I'll let it fire off for 3 minutes if I can do it. Again, I've got to make sure I've got room for the timer in here. I'll build it up in the air, which is going to be a little weird. But then, we'll lock it, and then the only time it will fire is when this thing goes off. Then it will it'll allow power for this thing to fire after we've done that little delay of this thing cooking our chickens, and then we can immediately start spitting out more chickens, and the cycle will automatically repeat itself at that point. So you can only do this with chickens because chickens are the only ones that will reproduce themselves, or at least reproduce eggs that we can then dispense to make more of them. Obviously you can't do that with chickens, pigs, or any other food source. So that is the generalized goal. It's a little convoluted, but I think we can get away with doing it with just the one dispenser in here and have pretty good results. If not, well, I was going to say I guess I could build another chicken hatchery or whatever over here above them, but I'd really like to be able to enclose all this. And the nice thing about this is, realistically, when we're all done, all we're going to see is this chicken sculpture that's going to be sitting out in the middle of my area. So still haven't figured out where I want to put him, but that is our general idea. So I guess now that I've outlined him to you, we will, I think, like I said, I don't think I have nearly the resources. I want to at least build kind of the frame of this guy in my world before I start building all the craziness in there. Maybe I can get the timer going underground underneath the guy once I've figured out where I'm going to put him. But yeah, so that's the general plan. Now I guess as far as other things go, I guess I'm going to spend a little more time in my creative world here. Didn't really plan to, but here we are. Let me go ahead and show you what we've got here. So I guess the most exciting thing that everybody's been waiting for with this are horses. So like I said, I did use the Misa texture pack for these. I'm going to get them away from our chicken. Yeah, that guy looks pretty cool. So anyway, the horses in the Misa texture pack I think are really cool looking. So these are our guys. Some obviously are much cooler than others. I'm really, oh, there's a donkey, I guess a baby donkey, kind of creepy looking. But yeah, so there's our horses. There's more of them in there obviously, but I don't want to spawn a billion horses here. I think they look really cool. So yeah, I definitely wanted to make them a part of the texture pack that I'm using. But yeah, so there's that. Oh, I guess there's the horse armors for them and all that good stuff as well. Although I think I can't, yeah, I can't look at that guy. Alright, I'm not going to armor him up, but anyway, the armors are going to look pretty cool as well. Let me see, other stuff. I did add in, these are actually my texture blocks. Let me go ahead and get these guys. Actually, this is from Faithful. And then as far as the clays go, I wanted to go with something a little more muted than my wool textures, or my wool packs are. So, and I also wanted to keep some of the clay texture that's actually in the original stuff that you can dig up out of the ocean. I thought it looked pretty cool. And I didn't like these just as solid color blocks. I think they look a little weird. So, there are those guys. I'm not going to bore, oops, hello. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but I definitely don't need 64 of those things. So there's blue, there's cyan, there's purple. That's actually the red. I think I already have a red one out there. The only one I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of is the red right here. I'm not thrilled with actually how that looks. Oh man. Okay, donkey. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That donkey behind me is going nuts. Yeah, so there's wool. I think I have a donkey burning up in a fire somewhere. That's really creepy. Yeah, I don't know where he burned himself, but he definitely died. Alright, so there's cyan. There's I guess a magenta, or a purple actually, that's a magenta. So yeah, it's a real subtle kind of a thing, but I think they look pretty good. They're a good addition to the game. Nice thing about these is gas can't set them on fire, so if you wanted to add some color to your world in the nether, for example, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, I wonder where that guy died. That's really weird. Anyway, so there's that, and then my coal block I've done is actually like that. It's a little more realistic, I think, than a lot of my other textures are in the pack, but I really kind of liked it. Thought it was a little dark, marbly looking, maybe granite, I don't know what you call that, but anyway, it's really, I guess I did some research online for coal, and I guess when you get coal under light, it's a little more grayish than it is black. Obviously it's still black, but I didn't want to go with a completely black block because I didn't want to look too much like just the black wool or any other things that are there. And the straw, I just basically took the hay bales, I guess, that are in the Faithful texture pack and just upscaled them to 64 by 64. I did add a little shadowing in here for some of those effects, but I'm not really a fan of the way those blocks look. Those might change in future updates. not really sure yet. Like I said, I was never a fan of the way these things looked anyway, so I don't know. Call me crazy if you like them. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but I'm just not a really big fan of them. So you'll probably never see them in my game other than right there. So I hope you enjoyed that preview of those. Other than that, yeah, the carpets, I'm really excited about these things. I'll probably be making use of these in the game, in my world, because I'm really liking the fact that you can actually lay down flat areas of color now and not have to worry about having to jump up on them or build them underneath. This is another thing I thought was kind of a neat find, was you can layer carpets like that, and I guess at that point you can destroy, yeah, you can destroy what's underneath it. Oh, no, you can't. Those just drop down then. But anyway, yeah, you can stack the carpets, so that might be something kind of an interesting effect, because you can then also just walk, you can't walk through them. So yeah, I guess that's an effective little door of sorts. I guess you could probably, let's find out. I bet you can push those with a sticky piston too. Although maybe not. Let's see what happens though. Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind. This is a little different format that I usually do, and I feel kind of bad. I feel like I kind of promised you guys I was going to build something pretty cool, and here I am going back on my word a little bit, but I think it's for a good cause. Alright, let's throw that guy there, and we'll see what happens when we hit a button. Okay, so you can't move that. You can move the bottom, though. So that's interesting. I wonder if, will they hold your weight? That's another interesting little thing. Do a little research with me, kids. Sorry about this. Yeah, that's gonna work. I'll put a torch there. Okay, so so you can't make a pit underneath it because they won't support themselves. Alright, well there you go. There's a little something for you about carpets. You have to have a surface underneath them, but you can place them on top of one another to get kind of that weird effect. I don't know how that's going to be useful. Maybe somebody wants to do some decorating. I guess if you did that and you threw glowstone behind it, because you can't walk through them, or water or something like that, you can completely see it through there. So I guess that might be kind of a cool effect. Let's just take a quick look-see. Meh. I guess, yeah, you could make some shelves or something like that if you want to in your house. That might be interesting. I wonder if you could put stuff on top of the ones that are in the air. Where's a flower pot? It's going to be in there, right? Decorations? Yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, you can't place anything on top of them. That's interesting. Even on the ground. Okay. Well, there you go. You can make some kind of shelving or something like that, I guess, in your world if you wanted to, but you can't actually make functional shelving that you can set items on. So that's about it. I did have some issues with my fire, so I ended up using the Misa fire texture. It might actually be what I had before. I honestly don't remember. So anyway, there's the way fire looks now. Whoop-de-doo. I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut up now, and we'll head back over into my world and maybe see about trying to start at least finding a location for this guy, if not actually building him, because I have a feeling we might actually be to our limit here, in which case I will bid you a fond fair adieu. But yeah, I will definitely at least get back over into my world so you guys can see it, and maybe we can find a place for him, or at least I'll try and scout off camera a place that I'm going to put this guy. I got to figure out his dimensions and all that good stuff and find a good home for him. So there you have it, and I will see you guys in a couple. Okay guys, so here we are back in my normal world. I think what I figured out is, as far as where I want to put that the chicken, is I think I'm going to plop him right around over here somewhere. As I mentioned before, I've tried to keep everything kind of aesthetically serious, I guess, with my builds, but after the Ender Dragon fiasco, I just felt like doing something kind of fun, which is why I went to the trouble of building that guy in the creative world, like you just saw. But I think if I do put him over here, I'm going to need to do a little terraforming. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, because I know I don't want to inflict that on you guys. But this area is far too hilly over here, I think, to really use. Oh, and actually, because I have an opportunity, I also updated the texture pack on my squid. They're actually kind of creepy looking now. There's another Misa thing, but I think they look pretty cool. You can kind of see their eyes back there like a real squid are. They look a little on the creepy side, but there we go. Alright, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm going to have to do a little terraforming over here, because I think I want to put his feet right about here. One of the big reasons I want to do that, number one, I want to get him a little bit further away from my other builds, just because he is going to be a little goofy fun. But I want to make sure that he's close enough so that when I'm working around the base, the chickens will continue to lay eggs and be cooked and all that good stuff. And I'm making the assumption that because I know iron golems are still forming over here and doing their thing when I'm in the base and I'm over there collecting mob drops and things like that, that the chicken will still be close enough that I'll still be harvesting chicken all the time. So that's the plan, but as you can see, I have a decent amount of terraforming to do if I want to make this all flat. So I don't want to make this little hillside going up go away too much, but I definitely got to address the bumpiness that's down there. So the chicken itself is a pretty big build. He's actually 9 wide by 15 deep by 16 blocks high. So my sheep keep glitching out. It's pissing me off. So anyway, I'll deal with him. I'll kind of do some terraforming, and I will check back in with you. Okay guys, so there we go. That actually didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to be to kind of terraform that out a little bit. I have a flat enough surface for the feet, which as you can see I've built there. I wanted to make sure I liked the positioning. He'll stick out a little bit, you know, into here, and but yeah, our chicken will be down there. Right now is a little out of the way, but I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue. Ultimately, I want to build some stables down here for the horses, and I think because I'll have them down there, that should be pretty easy to get around. Probably want to build a bridge across here because from what I've seen, horses kind of suck at swimming. So I think I'm going to have plenty of reason to go down there. I can get down here a couple of ways. Can do it the way that I'm doing right now with you, or actually the minecart elevator that we've got inside the house takes us down right over here. Yeah, I hear you guys. Right to here, which I've really still got to do something with the entrance here. Is really kind of pretty bush down at the lower level. But that's our minecart elevator, and we've got that wall there. So what I'm thinking I might do for the stables, I may just end up punching through there, make a little hallway that would go into an area where we could actually house horses or whatever. Maybe rip out some of this, flatten this area out some, and build an area to keep horses. So I figure if I'm down here for horses, it's not a very far run to run over here and load up on some chicken. So there's our giant chicken feet. For those of you that are wanting to build it, I'll try and do this as I go along. It's just 2 by 3 with the one for the toe sticking out there, and then the 3 blocks high on for the back of the legs. But yeah, I did check the length on this, and we're getting kind of crazy long, which I tend to do when I'm chatting with you guys. So I think I am going to call it quits here. Please like this if you did like it. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And I do kind of apologize. This is a little bit of a weird video for me. I'm used to building stuff with you guys or doing things, but instead I feel like I really kind of did an overview on how I'm going to build the chicken farm and a texture pack review. So anyway, hope you guys liked it. It's a little different format. Hopefully the next video should get back to just the normal format that we're used to doing. And you guys take it easy, and I will see you next time.